Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be welcoming back the CEO of Coya Therapeutics. This is one that we've covered previously on the channel. They just came out with some big news to kick off 2024, and we wanted to get the leader's thoughts. Now before we get into that, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. We actually just crossed the 40,000 subscriber milestone, so thanks to each and every one of you for the support. And finally, you guys, leave a comment in the section below, specifically if you're holding shares of Coya, and let me know your outlook for 2024. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's interview. Okay guys, so that's right. The first interview from the biotech space for 2024, we've got the CEO of Coya Therapeutics, Howard Berman, here to discuss some big news that just came out in relation to his company. So Howard, thanks so much for being here and Happy New Year.
It's a pleasure to be with you and thank you for having me as the first.
You're most welcome. Yeah, the biotech sector has been super exciting during 2023. I expect it to be even more exciting during 2024. There's a lot of activity going on here. But before we get into all that, Howard, maybe for people who missed our last discussion or coverage, can you give us a quick high-level summary of yourself and what Coya Therapeutics is all about?
Sure. Well, I'm a PhD by training, and I've been in big pharma for many years. I've developed drugs. I've commercialized drugs. I've launched drugs very successfully. And then I had the privilege and the pleasure of being able to launch my own company. And this is probably the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life, because we have a therapeutic that has the potential to be not an incremental improvement in care in neurodegenerative conditions, but an exponential improvement in care. And the data that we've shown so far is so exciting that we were able to achieve a very big milestone not just a month ago in signing a large licensing transaction, which gives us non-dilutive funding, and it also gives us runway into 2026. So something that many biotechs strive to do, few can actually accomplish. We told people that we were vigorously working on something like this, and we executed, and we're excited about that, and this just sets the stage for many other exciting things in 24.
No kidding. Yeah, and a perfect segue to that excitement I was talking about. Now, we're going to talk about that big press release in a second here. That's obviously the main focal point of the video. But before we do, you guys are very differentiated in the sense that you're focused on T cells, Treg dysfunction, Treg cell therapy. My aunt's actually a lawyer. She's based in the States. She watches my channel from time to time, and she said, hey, send me more info on that T cell video. What's all this T cell talk about? So you're definitely right, Howard. It is kind of cutting edge. It's very innovative, exciting stuff. But for people who maybe aren't familiar with the T cell, the Treg cell, can you tell us what that's all about and why this is such a breakthrough in the biotech space?
Yeah. Remember maybe 20 years ago in oncology and cancer, everyone thought that the immune system, if you were proposing that it played an important role, they thought you were crazy, right? Well, it turns out that the immune system plays the most fundamental role, and now the therapeutics are game-changing because they're not just modifying the T cells and whatnot, but they're using combination therapies to modulate the Treg cells and other types of immune cells. And that's really causing a sea change in oncology. Now, in neurodegenerative diseases, which we're focused on, it's the same thing. Now, the immune system is everything. And by being able to, it's the exact opposite in cancer. Whereas you want to stop the immune system, you want to stop the Tregs from working because the Tregs stop inflammation. On the other side of things, in neurodegenerative, we want to impede inflammation, so we want to prop up the Tregs. So we're using the immune system, which plays a critical role in the degeneration of these diseases and the decline of these patients. And so by using our therapeutics, we prop up the Tregs, we stop the inflammation, but we're adding other therapeutics at the same time, sort of a 1-2 punch, much like in oncology and much like in HIV and AIDS. Combination therapies are the future of treatments. And we think that by slowing inflammation and stopping other aspects of the immune system, it's going to be really the game changer that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, no kidding. And we cover quite a few different biotech type of companies on the channel, some focused on oncology, some not. And a lot of them really say this is the next big thing. This is the next game changer. But like you alluded to at the start, Howard, you guys are putting your money where your mouth is, and the proof is really in the pudding here. So I'm just quoting you. You've now got this licensing agreement, which you mentioned, with Dr. Reddy's in the neighborhood of, I think, around 680 to $700 million of total potential. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I would agree, you're now moving from the stage of concept to really proving this work, and that's extremely relevant with the size of this licensing agreement. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. Well, I'll first say the only reason we were able to strike it is because our early data in patients showed that was very exciting and showed the potential to stop the disease from progressing. And so to do a large double-blind randomized trial starting in 24 to prove this out versus placebo. But the early data shows that we're here and we're much better than what the standard of care is. Now, I will say the company we signed a deal with, Dr. Reddy's, they see the potential. The deal is very exciting because, first of all, it gives Coya non-dilutive funding up front, and we get $7.5 million up front. We get another almost $8.4 million in the second quarter of 24, once we file the IND for this trial. We also get a large number of milestones over the course of the development program, and then we get the up to $700+ million during the development of the asset as well as the commercialization of the asset, and we get double-digit royalties, which is really an accomplishment in terms of this market. So this is just for ALS, the condition for Coya 302. We've licensed the US rights and the European rights, and we are retaining South America, and we're retaining Japan. And Japan is a great market unto itself for us to develop. It's the second largest market in terms of ALS after the United States, as well as Europe. So we're excited about that, but it also allows us to do other licensing deals for 302 in other conditions and other neurodegenerative diseases. And so that's our core focus for 24, and we're already vigorously working on potential future opportunities there.
Geez, no downtime at Coya, hey? It's only 4 days into the new year, Howard, and you're already doing stuff like this. No, phenomenal. And the nice thing, a couple words I picked up there, non-dilutive. So to the retail community, obviously dilution is a major concern. Double-digit royalties, which is phenomenal. And as you said, this is only one portion of your company's overall platforms. You've also got some other candidates in there, and as you say, you're reserving the licensing right for certain jurisdictions, which is great as well. Now, the other thing, and probably related to this, Howard, but we've been starting to see some big name investors, a lot more investor attention towards Coya Therapeutics. So let us know a little bit more about that.
Right. So, but before I tell you about that, I'd like to say we are a very flexible organization. We move quickly. We like to be unpredictable. And that's what you need to be in terms of a biotech company. You need to really accomplish things and, surprise people with your announcements. And that's our lifeblood, and we're confident we're going to do the same thing. I will say our investors are also very excited. That's the reason why they made an investment in a PIPE concurrent with the Dr. Reddy's deal, and they did it at the market. They didn't do it with any warrants or any bells and whistles or any toxic financing, and that's also very unique and differentiated. Our investors include re-upping of some sophisticated institutional investors, as well as some new investors. And some investors that people may know, and because it's been announced, is David Einhorn from Greenlight Capital. He's a very large hedge fund manager. He's been with us since the beginning, but he re-upped on this transaction. We had people like a new board member, Wilbur Ross, the former Secretary of Commerce. He personally invested in this deal, and he's very committed now as a board member. And we've got additional investors, AIGH, and other investors. So we believe that we have a very strong repertoire of investors who will be with us for the long run, who are realizing that we perform and we do what we say we're going to do, and that you need to have strong investors behind you that are going to be folks who will advocate for you and will be there for the long run. And of course, we're working with other institutions to get their interest and to start moving up the value chain as well.
Yeah, really impressive lineup. Those are some major names in the biotech space. And the fact that they were able to come in at the market without warrants, as you said, Howard, is pretty rare when you're getting that type of institutional attention from the investment community. So congratulations there. You definitely did surprise us to kick off the year and hopefully just the start of things to come. And that kind of leads us to my last question here. Any other near-term catalysts we should be watching for in 2024 here, considering all the growth and excitement going on at Coya?
Yeah. Well, there's three buckets. Number one is there are things that we can't, of course, talk about because things are confidential. We're excited about a number of activities that we're working on, which will serve as, we believe, near-term catalysts. And I'll just leave it at that, just to keep it, within the compliance realm. But in terms of things that have been announced, we've got our data readout on a phase 2 Alzheimer's trial for the low-dose IL-2, and that's coming out very soon. The data, the last patient visit study will fully be completed in May of this year, and that readout, it's a double-blind study, so we'll be able to compare it to placebo. And then, of course, we're starting our phase 2 ALS trial in the second quarter of 24. So this year, and that will be our important ALS study that will be comparing placebo to the active arm, which is Coya 302, the combination therapy. We're going to be presenting at multiple meetings, and of course, we have new data in terms of our biomarker data and other things related to a variety of different diseases, showing the expansion of our portfolio and our platform, things that we will announce hopefully in the near future.
Phenomenal. Well, how's that for a cliffhanger, Howard? You know the entertainment business now well, and we'll be sure to have you back on as those catalysts come to fruition. But super exciting time. I'll kick it back to you for any closing thoughts, but we really appreciate you coming on today and giving us an update on Coya.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for having me. Again, I think the critical message is we made commitments last year. We executed on our commitments. We said we were going to do a deal. We were looking to do a deal. We did a deal. I think that's only elevated our position with respect to inbound interest. And if you think ALS is a big indication, there are other indications out there that are much bigger that Coya 302 will have potentially a strong value proposition for. And those in particular have a lot of opportunity and interest for collaboration, partnership, and potential deals that we could sign. And so that's our core focus in 24, as well as to move our 302 asset through into ALS and to bring this to patients and really create value for us, patients and shareholders.
Sure. Yeah, and I always like to remind everyone, we talk about these biotech companies from an investment lens, but at the end of the day, this is really helping impact people's health, their lives, their relationships, the length of their life. So I appreciate all the work you're doing there, Howard, as does the rest of the community that's suffering from these conditions. People, or viewers, if you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any specific questions for Howard or about Coya Therapeutics, feel free to leave them in the section below and we'll make sure we address them in our next video. Howard, thanks so much for being here. Have a great rest of your day and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.